Whenever I share my favorite exterior paint colors, there is always one question that I get. What is the best white exterior paint color for trim? Now, there are a handful of white paint colors that I recommend for trim because they have very nicely balanced undertones and they tend to work well with a wide range of body colors. So at the end of this video, you should have a short list of the best white paint colors for exterior trim and hopefully feel a little more confident about your exterior paint color choices. First, let's talk a little bit about LRV, or light reflectance value. LRV is a measure of how light or dark a paint color is on a scale of 0 being the darkest to 100 being the lightest. For exteriors, it's really important to keep LRV below a certain value, or your paint colors are just going to look way too bright. Now, LRV is really important when you're choosing an exterior white paint color, and a good rule of thumb is that the white paint color should have an LRV that's less than 85. Now, in some cases, for example, if your home gets a lot of shade, you can push that LRV value higher to something more like 85 to 92. If you want to find the LRV of a paint color, just head on over to the manufacturer's website and you can find it there in the paint color details. Okay, let's move on and talk about the top 6 white paint colors for exterior trim. First up is Benjamin Moore's White Dove. Now, I consider Benjamin Moore White Dove to be the absolute best white for exterior trim. White Dove has an LRV of 85, so it's on the lighter side, but not overly bright. It's a warm white with grayish undertones, and it just plays well with a wide range of body colors, including cooler grays, blues, and greens. So here's a mock-up showing a cool gray paint color with some blue undertones to it on the body. This is Benjamin Moore's Coventry Gray and Benjamin Moore White Dove on the trim. And here we have White Dove paired with Benjamin Moore's Hale Navy and Stuart Gold on the front door. Now, as you can see, White Dove looks like a neutral, crisp, clean white on exterior trim, and it rarely ever reads too harsh or stark. So if you need a white trim paint, be sure to put White Dove at the top of your list of whites to sample. Coming in at number 2 on my list is Sherwin-Williams Alabaster, which has an LRV of 82. Now, this is a gorgeous, bright, slightly creamy white. It's a really popular body color for that trendy white farmhouse exterior look, but it's also a fantastic choice for exterior trim. Now, in this picture, I'm showing Alabaster trim with Sherwin-Williams Granite Peak on the body. When you pair Alabaster with a soft blue or blue-gray shade, it really enhances that blue color and the result is just magical. But Alabaster also works well as a trim color for warmer body colors like tans and grays. Here you can see Alabaster with Sherwin-Williams Mindful Gray on the body. So if you want just the slightest hint of creaminess in your exterior white trim paint, give Alabaster a go. Number 3 is Sherwin-Williams Pure White. Pure White has more gray in it than others on this list. It also does still have just a hint of warmth to it, which keeps it from looking too drab or muddy. If you're painting your exterior a neutral gray and you don't want your white trim paint to have any creamy vibes, then Pure White is a great choice for you. Here it is with Dorian Gray on the body and Pure White on the trim. And here we have Pure White with Sherwin-Williams Cottage Cream on the body and Sherwin-Williams Waterloo on the front door. Pure White is also a great trim color to consider if your home is west facing and you don't want your trim to look too creamy in the warm afternoon sun. Pure White tends to stay nice and neutral looking. Next up at number 4 is Sherwin-Williams Dover White. Now, with its soft yellow undertones, Dover White is more of a creamy ivory white. However, it has an LRV of 83, so it's still quite bright for an exterior trim paint. Dover White is slightly brighter and creamier than Sherwin-Williams Alabaster, and it looks great with warm body colors like tans and beiges. And here we have an example of that shown with Sherwin-Williams Tavern Taupe. It also pairs really nicely with dark earthy colors like browns and taupes and even greens, where that creamier white can help soften the transition between the body and trim color. Number 5 is Sherwin-Williams Natural Choice. With an LRV of 73, Sherwin-Williams Natural Choice is the darkest of the whites on my list with a nicely balanced beiginess to it. When should you use an off-white for your exterior trim? Well, if you're planning to paint the body of your home a dark gray or charcoal or a chocolate brown or a dark green, sometimes a bright white trim is just too drastic of a contrast. So in that case, give Natural Choice a try to help smooth the transition. Here you can see Natural Choice paired with Sherwin-Williams Pewter Green. And here is Natural Choice with Sherwin-Williams Porpoise on the body. The great thing about this trim color is that it will still look white, especially with darker shades, but it is just a bit softer than some of the other whites on the list. Number 6 is Benjamin Moore's Simply White. Now, Simply White is a beautiful, bright, warm white that I recommend often for interiors. However, when it comes to exteriors, it's on the cusp of being too bright with an LRV of almost 92. So why is it on my list of whites for exterior trim? Well, as I mentioned in the beginning when talking about LRV, there are situations where you may need a brighter white for your exterior trim. If your home is heavily shaded or it's north-facing, you can often push the LRV of your white trim color a bit higher. And if you fall into that category, Simply White is a fantastic trim option for you. Here's a picture of Benjamin Moore's Simply White trim paired with Benjamin Moore's Revere Pewter on the body. Simply White can also work well if you want to paint your exterior off-white and you're looking for a brighter white trim for just that hint of subtle contrast. And here I'm showing Simply White with Benjamin Moore's Stonington Gray, which is a very light gray that is more defined and enhanced with a brighter white. Now, narrowing it down to just 6 favorite white trim colors wasn't super easy for me because there are so many great whites out there. So I'm cheating a little bit here and giving you a few other exterior white trim colors that I also like and recommend, but just didn't quite make my top 6. So feel free to check those out and grab samples of any of those whites that you think would work well with your exterior body color. When it comes down to choosing the best colors for your exterior, be sure to get samples of your body and trim colors and look at them together. In general, warm whites are going to work with almost any body color and lighting condition for exteriors, while cooler whites tend to work best with cooler or more neutral body colors or on west-facing homes. So my tip is, you can't really go wrong with a white that has some warmth to it. Then be sure to put samples on your home and evaluate them in different lighting areas. For example, view them in the front and the back of the house and again in full sun and in shade. You can slap some paint directly on your exterior, but I absolutely love the peel and stick sample sheets from Sampleize. They're inexpensive and super easy to use, and I'll put a link in the video description for you if you want to get some samples mailed to you. And that's a wrap on my top 6 exterior white paint colors for trim. Now that you have a short list of the best white paint colors for exterior trim, be sure to check out my other videos for exterior paint colors for more tips and recommendations. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when new videos are released. And if you click the link in the video description, you can head on over to my website where you can download free resources with paint color tips and recommendations for home decorating so that you can decorate your home like a pro.